Hey gang, welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about something that I do for my own personal kind of mental health and well-being, something I do to kind of take care of myself. I know I've talked to you guys a little bit about that I struggle with depression and anxiety, and of course I'm on medication, and that definitely does its job, but there's some days where it's just not a good day, and that's how mental health goes. But even not even talking about that, you just kind of need to be able to recharge, whether or not you struggle with mental illness, really. So one thing that I like to do is I like to read. I've always liked to read. I used to work at a bookstore when I was in college. That was probably my favorite job before what I do now. And I loved it. I loved everything about it. So what I've been reading lately, I've read a few books lately. The first one I want to talk to you about is called The Tattooist of Auschwitz. And if you've not heard about this, look into it. Of course, it has to do with the Holocaust. And our main character is a Jew, and he's sent to a concentration camp. It's not Auschwitz, it's the one that's next to it. For some reason, I'm totally blanking on it right now. Birkenau. So he gets sent there, and he actually makes it through the first little bit doing manual labor, but then he gets chosen to become the person who tattoos all the new prisoners, which, he kind of goes with it a little bit, as far as it's mentioned a few times in the story where sometimes people think like he's a traitor because he's working with the Nazis and tattooing the new prisoners who come in, but really he's trying to survive. He's doing his best. And content warning, it's about the Holocaust. Of course, there's horrible things that happen in this book. There really, it does contain some really bad stuff. But to be perfectly honest, nothing even close to the horrible things that actually really happened. Well, these things did actually happen, but the as horrible of the things that happened, this is pretty kind of tamed down as far as what they tell us. So I feel like overall, unless if you're extremely sensitive to this sort of topic, maybe you wouldn't want to look into it, but otherwise it's a great read. We follow him through his journey through the concentration camp, and he meets somebody and falls in love, and then it goes through and this is his actual real story that he told the author to begin with. So it's kind of really great to kind of go into it knowing that he comes out of it. But I kind of had to remind myself of that a couple times, that don't worry, he comes out, otherwise we wouldn't be hearing this story, right? So that's one of the books that I've been reading lately. Another one of the books that I've read is called Girl Last Seen by Nina Loren. This was actually not necessarily my normal type of book that I read, but it was really great. Basically, what it is this girl, we meet her as an adult, basically. There's a little flashback sequence in the very beginning of when she escaped, but we meet this girl as an adult. She was kidnapped at 10 years old and escaped 3 years later, so when she was 13. So she's survived the incident, but she's not living, she's surviving. Kind of just barely hanging on. It's rough, and of course it goes more into different details. There she keeps track of all the missing kids. They never caught her kidnapper. So whenever she hears of a new missing kid, she, kind of analyzes it in her own way. Like, does this person, was she about my age? Was she, if it's a boy, that's the wrong sex. Does she look like me? Does she have brown hair? Does she have blonde hair? And kind of tries to work it out in her mind whether or not this girl could be kidnapped by the same person. And then so the story starts off with, we kind of meet this girl, and then she discovers a girl who resembles what she was like at 10, and this girl is 10. So she automatically makes this connection, like, I don't know if it's him, but it's got to be him, because and it kind of follows this girl kind of through this it follows the woman through the missing girl's case. And there's a couple twists and turns through there, and you kind of think you know where it's going, and then you're like, what? At the end. So I really liked it. There is obviously a content warning on this one too. Obviously this girl was abducted, and she talks a little bit about the sexual abuse that she was on the receiving end of. It's not super graphic. You definitely know what she's talking about. So use your own judgment on that one. I thought it was an amazing book. So I would recommend this, Girl Last Seen. The other book that I've read recently is called The Couple Next Door by Shari Lapena. This is kind of like a mystery. It starts off where these couples, they live like next to each other in like a duplex or a townhouse or something like that. And the one couple, they've got a baby, and then they're at the other couple's house for like a dinner party. So they go home, because it's like on the other side of the wall. So they go home and they realize that their baby has been kidnapped. So they call the police, and of course they're blamed because everybody blames the parents first. And you think you know what's going on, something happens, and then you think you know what's going on, and then something happens, and it's kind of like twist after twist, where knowing how it ends, when I started it, there's no way I even thought that there would be any correlation. So take a look at that one, The Couple Next Door. Not really, with the kidnapped baby, not really any content warning on this, I don't think. Yeah. So take a look at that one, The Couple Next Door. So I am kind of reading two books right now. The Couple Next Door is written by the same author as A Stranger in the House. I'm currently reading this. I am about not even 100 pages in yet. So about 80 pages, and so far it's really good. There's definitely that mystery. It starts off with a man coming home to his house, and the door is left wide open. The dinner's on the stove. His wife isn't there. His wife's car is missing. Like her purse and her phone, like it's all left at home. She just left, took the keys, took the car, and just left. And he's freaking out. He searches the house, doesn't know where to go. So he calls the cops, and then like 2 minutes later, a cop comes to tell him that his wife was in a car accident. So he's coming to notify him of that. And he's like, oh, so you're here because my wife is missing. And they're like, no, I'm here to tell you about your wife is in an accident. So it's kind of how it starts. And right now I'm just at the part where she's kind of home from the hospital, dealing with her injuries. She has a concussion, nothing super bad, some scrapes and bruises. And so I'm not super far into this. So far I really like it, but it's definitely written much in the style of this one. And And it looks like she also had a book come out called An Unwanted Guest. I don't know if you can see that. Um, I I am looking forward to checking that one out as well. So that's one I'm reading. Then the other one that I'm reading right now is, can you see that? Becoming Michelle Obama. There we go. So I have this one on my Kindle. It was cheaper than buying because it was out in hardback at first. I've always really liked Michelle Obama. I feel like regardless of your political affiliations, I'm not getting into that. My personal feelings about Michelle Obama is that a lot of times, in order to be seen as a strong woman, um, that woman has to feel like she has to put down her husband or kind of minimize his role in their marriage or in their life, or maybe act like their marriage isn't that important or she doesn't care. And I feel like Michelle Obama doesn't do that. She has always presented herself as a strong woman, but, as very much being partners with her husband, showing him respect, but also, presenting that I'm a strong woman, I can do this, but I'm better with him, kind of thing. So I kind of appreciate that where, Brad and I, we've been married for ages. We've been married for 13 years. It'll be 14 years in May. So we're coming up on that 14-year anniversary. And I feel like, there's definitely times where I'm not pulling my weight and he's got to pick up the slack and vice versa. And I really feel like being in a marriage, that's kind of part of it, where sometimes you're doing 150% and the other person's doing 50, and then sometimes it's flipped, but most of the time you should both be doing 100. I feel like that's kind of the basis of a good marriage. Not the only one, but part of it. And I feel like, a lot of times, especially, the celebrity women, we all make jokes like, oh, my husband, puts dishes on top of the counter and doesn't put them away or whatever, I feel like a lot of times we kind of get stuck in that rut of complaining where, I wish my husband would do this and I wish he would do this. But what about, let's talk about what he does do. Does he do things the way I would do them? No, not necessarily, but I'm not going to bitch about that he cleaned the bathroom wrong when that just means he did it and I don't have to do it. So I kind of like that refreshing view that Michelle Obama seems to have in her book. I'm not all the way done with it. I've been kind of reading it for a while, and then I got sidetracked. I was reading The Tattoos of Auschwitz, and then I got sidetracked onto that, kind of sucked in. But she's funny. And it's kind of neat to see like where they came from. She's from Chicago. That's not too far from here. And it's kind of fun to see, where they came from and where they're going because you've seen it. But it's just fun. I really like her a lot. So I'm enjoying the rest of that book. Those are the two books that I have that I'm reading now. Next up, I got this book called Radium Girls. Check that out. And then Sisters First, I think is what it's called. It's by Jenna Bush Hagar, and then Barbara, I'm not sure what her married name is, but her twin, Barbara Bush, the younger one. So it's about the Bush sisters and kind of them growing up with obviously their grandfather in the White House and then eventually their father in the White House. So I'm looking forward to reading those two. Check out, down below in the description box is a link to my Amazon shopping list. Obviously, I'm not an affiliate. I'm not sponsored or anything like that. But if you click on that, it's going to take you to a bunch of idea lists that I have. I've got 3 of them about books. One is books I've read and I would recommend. One of them is books I'm currently reading now, which I need to update. And then the third one is books I want to read. So check those out. And then guys, if you have anything that you do to kind of promote your own mental health, let me know. Comment down below. I have a friend who had texted me after my last video that she tried acupuncture for the first time, which I think is awesome. I've kind of always wanted to try it. I'm a little bit nervous though. She invited me to go with her, but I had to work, so I couldn't. But I love to hear these ideas, you guys. I think that if we can actually talk to each other about like our real lives, I think that will just help us all in the long run. Because if you guys know I'm not perfect, but I'm trying as hard as I can, and this is what I do to help myself, you know, maybe that will help you, or maybe you'll say, hey, I have that same thing, this is what I do, and maybe that'll help me. So, you know, we're in this together, you guys. None of us get out of this alive. So it's kind of nice to know, you know, none of us are perfect. We're all kind of going through our own things, and sometimes our thing is the same as somebody else's thing, and we can help each other. So comment down below, or comment on my Facebook page, or text me, whichever, and just kind of let me know if there's something that you do that helps you kind of pull yourself out of that funk, or once you're out of that funk, if there's something you do to keep you kind of on that out of the funk level. Let me know, and I'll share it with everybody on one of my videos here, maybe a laundry chat. We'll talk about it. But yeah, just let me know, and that's awesome. So guys, this week, try to take care of yourselves. We're almost out of this winter weather. You know, we just had this bombastic whatever it was come through with I think that's Shaggy. I think he's boombastic, I think. Anyways, we had that weather thing go through with like the 50-mile-per-hour wind and just nastiness out. But you know what, guys? It's sunny today. We are getting there. We're almost to spring. We're almost to summer, where we're going to have more daylight. That definitely won't cure everything, but I know that'll make me feel a lot better. So hang in there. We're almost to summer. Don't forget to brush your teeth, brush your hair, maybe take a shower if you can bring yourself to do it. But yeah, take care of yourself and try to have a great week. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the thumbs up if you liked this video, and please comment down below and tell me what you do to kind of help you. And since he got such great reviews last time, I want to show you who my filming buddy is today. Look at Sammy. He's taking a little nap. Look at him. Oh, there he is. All right, guys, try to have a great week. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.